What's going on, everybody? You're tuned in to another episode of Whiskey Business. My name is Jesse, and thanks for joining us here on this fine Friday. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe and click the bell notification button to stay up to date with all my latest posts. New videos every Sunday afternoon. I still got a lot of videos backlog needing to be edited, and I'm going to be getting more into the review side of things in the near future here. I've been doing a lot of decapitations on the channel, and speaking of which, let's get into today's decapitation. Alright, a little bit of context on this one. So, the other day, actually it was last Friday, I was sipping on some Four Roses Yellow Label, as they call it, and I really liked it. And if you guys have seen my first decapitation of it, I didn't really like it that much. It seemed very simple and clean tasting, but just very simple. I wasn't a fan of the floral. But anyways, last Friday I was sipping it alongside some other bourbons and even some scotches, and I found it pretty comparable to scotches, but I really enjoyed it, and I liked the floral combined with the caramel I was getting. I thought it was a really good balance, and it just really suited the palate of the day, if that makes sense, because every day, really, depending on what you've eaten and drank in the last few hours, your palate is going to be a little bit different. So I really liked it. So that leads me to today, this Friday, where I went and picked up some Four Roses Single Barrel. Now, Four Roses Single Barrel. Okay, so I know a few of my bourbon friends in the whiskey groups I'm in said I should start with the small batch and then go to the single barrel, and I said, you know, I believe it was like a $5 to $10 difference. I think it was like a $5 difference. This goes for $54.70 at the LCBO, so that's a pretty good deal compared to in America people paying around $50 for it, and that's US dollars. So to pay $54.70 Canadian, I feel like that's a heck of a deal. You're getting a single barrel. So far I've been a big fan of single barrels, and so I said, you know what, I'm gonna go with the single barrel because where I live they're not very common, and the store actually had 3 of them, so I said I'm gonna go with it. But anyways, without going too much into that, this is the Four Roses Single Barrel coming in at like I said, $54.70. It is very available, widely available on the shelf, even in Ontario at the LCBO. So if you're in America or even up north Canada, I'm sure you are able to pick this up for a pretty decent price. Now, here in Ontario, we don't have store picks, but all the on-shelf non-store pick versions of this will be the OBSV recipe. If you're unaware, the second and the fourth letter in OBSV are the ones that are variable. B standing for their high rye recipe, which is 35% rye, 60% corn, and 5% malted barley. Now they also have an E, which stands for 20% rye, 75% corn, and 5% malted barley. That is not available in the single barrel regular on shelf. Those store picks it could be. So OBSV, what does it mean? The O is always the same and is a throwback to the Seagram days where barrels actually had a letter designation, and O being the old Prentice barrels, which is now known as the Four Roses Distillery. The second letter, either being B or E, like I said, is the mash bill. So either the high rye or the lower rye. S is a non-variable letter, and it stands for straight whiskey. And the last letter, which is variable, is for the yeast code. So there's 5 different yeast codes. V, which has more delicate fruit notes. K, which is a slight spice forward note. O, which has rich fruit notes. Q, which has the floral essence, which, to be honest, I find most Four Roses that I've tried have somewhat of an underlying floral note, but maybe it's more floral forward. I am not too sure. And last but not least, F, which is herbal notes. So I tend to get herbal notes, at least in the yellow label. There was a bit of herbal notes as the bottle opened up. But anyways, guys, without further ado, let's get this bottle decapitated. So this bottle, if I can even open it. So this bottle is non-age stated, but it is said to be anywhere from 7 to 9 years old. So it's coming in older than the yellow label, which is about 5 years, and the small batch, which is 6 to 7 years. A little bit of a strange cork. The cork is actually up inside of the wood. Kind of cool, I guess. So like I said, they have 5 yeast strains, 2 mash bills, and from that they create 10 different recipes of unique bourbon. And Four Roses, I think, is one that definitely gets slept on or stomped on. I would like to say shit on, but I don't know if I want to say that. So it gets slept on or shit on. Either people don't pick it up just because they think it's just another big box brand distiller and they're just making overpriced juice. That, or they've heard all of the terrible reviews from people who are proof palate whores, I will call them, and their palate really only values high proof whiskey or bourbon. And there's a lot of people like that, and it's unfortunate because I think there is a place for lower proof anywhere. The one thing I will say about that is Four Roses does have a barrel proof bourbon. It's not available where I live in Ontario, unfortunately, but if I ever come across it, I will definitely be doing a review of it. And that is a bottle that I've heard a lot of praise about. But as far as their standard offering, the single barrel and the small batch and small batch select, they kind of get crapped on because of the proof. And if I didn't already say, this is coming in at 50% ABV or 100 proof, so 10% higher than the standard yellow label, which is coming in right at 40, the bare minimum. And the small batch is, I believe, 45, could be 47. Not 100% sure. Without further ado, this is opened up for enough time for us here. So let's get right into the nosing and tasting. Quick side note, if you guys have never used the Pilot G2 pens, absolutely amazing budget pen. If you don't want like a nice good fountain pen with refillable things, these are actually refillable. You can get cartridges, which is what I do because I can no longer find the actual pens in store, so I just order the cartridges on Amazon. This is the 0.7 millimeter cartridges. They have an even finer. I think they have this is the fine. I think they have an extra fine and a even finer. So 0.5 and 0.325, I think. As well as they have a bold. So yeah, just a random little tidbit. They write so well. Absolutely love them. And yeah, they come in like green, red, blue, black. But anyways, this is about bourbon and not pens. So cheers, guys. Hope everyone's having a great Friday and week, honestly. Ooh, okay. Wow, that smells very rich. So I'm getting lots and lots of sweetness. I would say definitely caramel forward. I'm getting the floral essence in there. Oh, it's a little bit herbal, honestly. Definitely some rye spice. Cinnamon. Getting a bit of red fruit. I want to say some red apple. Similar to Buffalo Trace. Just a nice juicy red apple. Along with that rye spice comes a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. Some nice dark chocolate. Like 80-90% dark chocolate. A nice coating of vanilla. Wow. Overall, the nose on this is superb. I'm getting so many nice things. Like I've said in the past, I love dark chocolate. I'm typically on keto a lot, so dark chocolate is one of my indulgences, and I absolutely love dark chocolate, black coffee. Even just eating coffee beans, as strange as that sounds, from time to time when I need a little nibble. Oh, okay. I just got a really herbally floral note, almost as if I was in a garden. So the note I'm getting is reminiscent of springtime when everyone is doing their gardening, all the garden centers are open, and you go for a nice walk, and all you smell is flowers and moist, fresh soil. That's kind of the note I just got. It's really on the edge of the glass, on the side. Anyways, this is a really sweet, dark chocolatey vanilla on top of some fresh red apple and caramel. Just a whole abundance of things. A little bit of floral, a little bit of that herbal, and then if you really get down into the side, fresh garden notes. But typically, if you stay outside the glass, you're just getting that sweet, nice, savory, rich nose. So anyways, without further ado, let's go in for the first sip. Cheers, everybody. Okay, so this is my first whiskey of the day, so came in a little bit hot. The nose has almost no proof. You can't even tell you're drinking alcohol. On the palate, you're kind of hit with that floral first. It's like a light floral. It's not like super perfumey. Just a light floral note. Swept over by caramel. Caramel just kind of takes over and goes into like a faint burnt sugar, more than caramel, and vanilla. Going back to the nose, I'm actually getting some orange peel now. Orange peel and vanilla. Still that dark chocolate, maybe like a dark chocolate Terry's chocolate orange. It's nice. A little bit of oak spice in there. You get that rye spice, very warming rye spice. The orange comes across on the palate for sure. Almost a sweet liqueur orange, like a Cointreau or triple sec, if you've ever made cocktails with those. Yeah, so it just comes in floral, washed over by this nice sweetness and citrus. The sweetness and citrus kind of turn into like a bitter burnt sugar and vanilla, and then they go right into the oak spice at the back of the tongue. Oak spice, cinnamon, rye spice, some black pepper again, and you're left with like that spice and a very faint bit of sweetness to coat the spice into the finish. Finish is I would say the finish is medium long. It's still going. It's very fresh cracked black pepper on the back of the tongue and the throat. That is what I'm left with right now. It's just fresh cracked black pepper. I would say the finish isn't super complex, but the black pepper note is super prominent, and I really like black pepper, so I can't really complain about that. But you know what? I'm gonna say this is a medium long finish because it's still going. It's just black pepper, but it's still going, so it counts. Okay. I'm gonna sip this and evaluate it a little bit more, get my scores down, and then I'll be right back. Alright, I'm done evaluating. My scores are done. Overall, I'm gonna say the nose on this is where it stuck out and really shined. The nose had me expecting a lot more from the palate. Like I said, I could smell this all day. It smells really good. Lots of different notes. The nose is super complex. Moving into the palate, it's not as complex, but it is super well balanced for the price. And as much as I would tend to adore a higher proof, I think this bottle, given the high rye mash bill, has enough spice and heat to kind of satisfy that proof hunger. The palate, like I said, isn't as complex as the nose, but still lots of nice notes, a nice wave of different things, taking you from floral, light, and sweet, like the yellow label, to nice and rich, higher proof bourbon type notes, and into a nice long spicy finish that a rye would typically give you. So on the palate, I went ahead and gave this an 84. The nose, I gave it an 87. And the finish being pretty much just spice with a little bit of sweetness on the top, but still being long and very distinctly a black pepper note. I went ahead and gave that an 82. That's a pretty good rating for a finish. So averaging all three of these, it is going to be an 84.33. Now, something I've been wanting to do with these whiskeys that are available, especially at the LCBO, things that you can pick up if you are local to Ontario, because after all, that is what I'm after, and I'm trying to help the people that are getting into whiskey, getting into bourbon, that are in Ontario and are locked to the LCBO chain. Given that this bottle is $54.70, I'm going to say value-wise, being 50%, being a single barrel, so you get some batch variety, you can kind of collect these. You have a batch code on the front. Like I said, it's the store shelf recipe is always going to be the OBSV as far as standard LCBO, because we don't have store picks. But there's still going to be barrel variety, batch variety. So if you're into the single barrel whiskeys and bourbons, or if you've never even had a single barrel, I think this is a good entry into the single barrel, because it's not a super high proof single barrel, but it's still got enough complexity. And like I said, that nose is really nice. It's rich. It's not too floral for me. I'm someone that doesn't like, that really florally perfume or like potpourri. I don't like that. I don't like those notes at all. So if you're someone that doesn't like those notes, I think you're still going to enjoy this. Don't be thrown off by the 4 roses in the name, or people saying it's a florally bourbon. Yeah, compared to other bourbons, it's going to be floral. And as far as I'm concerned, putting 4 roses up against others in a blind, it's kind of going to stick out like a sore thumb. It's not always going to do the greatest, but I think standalone, it is a totally enjoyable bourbon, and it deserves a spot on anybody's shelf, especially given the price. Like I said, this is not even $5 more than standard Elijah Craig at the LCBO, and it's only $5 more than the small batch. If you want to go for the small batch, go for the small batch. But if you like the batch variety aspect of it, go with the single barrel. I think it's got a pretty nice, unique bottle, and I think you can't go wrong. So, out of 100, based on the fact that it's super available and the fact that it's under $60, the value rating of this, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 80. I'm going to say the value is an 80. Is there better for the price? Yes. Even at the LCBO, you may have to order online and pick up in store because not every LCBO is going to carry the stuff you're looking for. But it's not any much more. You don't have to pay shipping if you're picking up in the store. So, yes, there's better. Yes, there's worse. Anyways, guys, that's going to do for this episode of Whiskey Business. That was a great Decapitation. I think this bottle has even more to offer as soon as it opens up, just like the Yellow Label did. If you have tried this and you enjoy this, or you don't, let me know down below in the comments, and let's get a conversation going. I appreciate any feedback that you guys have for the videos, and I appreciate you guys watching. It all helps me to grow. Check me out on Instagram, where I post every time I upload, and I'm going to be trying to get more regular posts out. I don't really know what I'm going to post about, but hey, if I come across something or I find some deals, I'll let you guys know. So yeah, without further ado, guys, that's the end of the video, and go give Four Roses a try. I think it deserves some love, because people just hate on it for some reason, and I just don't know why. It's very good. But this has been Whiskey Business, and I'm out. Cheers.